Hi there, this is Don Fritchie, Senior Loan Officer with First County Mortgage. I've had a lot of clients come to me recently with the belief that we're coming to the peak of a housing bubble and want to pull back on searches for their new home. I want to state unequivocally that this is not the same era and we're not going to have a bubble burst like we did back in 2005 to 2008. Back then, we had rampant speculation using highly risky loan types that drove prices higher at an abnormal pace. I knew a lot of smart people that caught up in this frenzy, expecting to buy a home 1 month and then 3 months later sell it for 10% above what they bought it for originally. That pace just wasn't sustainable. As you can see in this chart, in that area we saw home prices peak in 2006. Prices reached the bottom in February of 2012, gradually increasing from that time. Over that interim, in the Mid-Atlantic region, we have seen steady appreciation. In fact, over the last 10 years, we have seen annual appreciation of condos greater than 4%, and of single-family detached residences, almost 5.5%. Today, I don't know anybody that's looking at a potential price appreciation and flip to gain as a reason to purchase. Prices are being driven by supply and demand, by those either purchasing to live in or to own as an investment property, and are subject to much more stringent underwriting guidelines. You can see in this graphic that we're still in a market somewhat favorable to sellers, given the months of supply and median days on market. Again, supply and demand. There are not enough houses on the market as compared to the number of buyers that want a home. That said, you'll note that these are based on June measurements, and the market has continued to balance since then. We're seeing many more contracts accepted with contingencies and without the need for excessive offers. This is all dependent, of course, on the specific properties, so be prepared to work with your real estate agent to present the best offer based on appropriate conditions in that market. Can and will housing prices be affected by a recession? Certainly. However, in this area, we've always been somewhat insulated from economic downturns. To the degree that this does or does not happen nationwide, I don't believe that we'll see any major influence on local house prices other than a slower pace or leveling off of home appreciation. And before I leave you, take a look at these two charts. First, the historical 30-year fixed interest rates since 1971, peaking in 1981 over 18%. And in our most recent 5 years leading into this most recent year, you'll see that rates have actually dropped since their peak in mid-June of this year, despite the increase in the federal funds rate. This tells me that inflationary pressures are waning and that we might see some moderation from the Fed's stance in this regard. All in all, still a great time to buy a home, whether for the short term or the long term. If you have any questions, please call me.